Good morning. Welcome back. So I'm here at the shipping table and I'm about to pack up some orders so I can get them to USPS. I got about 21 orders that I'm going to send out. These all came in yesterday and last night. Wanted to share with you some things that have been selling for us and then just talk about a couple things. A lot of it's to get your thoughts, just to kind of maybe throw another perspective your way. I really do feel that if you're able to kind of talk things out, that other people would have a perspective that just makes sense. And I may not be looking at it that way. So I want to share, get your feedback, and let's see what happens. Let's work together. Let's network. Um, let's all be great at what we're doing. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you stopping by. My name's Jana. My husband and I own Reclaimed Treasures, which is a store that we sell used and new goods on. We've been doing this roughly 3 years now. We do our YouTube channel under Picking and Thrifting Treasures because it's just fun. That's what we do. We'll go picking, we'll thrift, we'll dig through boxes, whatever it takes to find the treasure. That's what we're willing to do. It's something that we enjoy doing, and we try to bring those items to you to share with you what we found, share with you what we sold. If you are not new coming back to the channel, thank you so much. Your support means the world. If I didn't have your support, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I appreciate you. So let's get started. One of the first things I'm going to show you is these right here. They're so tiny. These are Chanel, and they're little felt bags that you could put perfume in as the bottom piece, put perfume in and carry it around. You could put trinkets in it. This does not have a flap to close. These two picked up out of an estate sale down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and they sold for $10 plus shipping. So pretty excited with that. Next, I have Hadley. I love M.A. Hadley. I think it's just so stinking cute. There is value to be had. I would say in the bigger pieces, you're going to get more out of. But if you're able to come across a bulk buy of it, if it makes sense for your business, do it. If you're able to hold on to the items because they could be a longer tail, you will make money from it. This particular item came out of a lot, an estate sale, had it in their pictures. I reached out through email saying, hey, I'm very interested in buying the entire lot of Hadley that you've got. Would you be willing to allow me to come up and buy it? It took about a week back and forth with this owner, and she gave me the green light. So I hopped right in the car, drove on to the other side of town, and picked up several pieces, this being one. This is super cute. Little ABC bowl. Here's your M.A. Hadley on the back. I think it's like a cat food or water bowl. It could be used for small fruit, whatever the case may be. This bowl right here sold for $24.95 plus shipping. So I'm very happy with that. When I made that purchase, I want to say it was roughly January, maybe February. So not too bad. Did not hold on to that for too long. I have the Sticks cassette tape. Ooh, as I about drop it. Goodness gracious. The Sticks cassette tape. Shane went to an estate sale that he brought home tons of cassette tapes and CDs. He said he put them all together, made a bundle deal. This right here is a gift that keeps giving. This particular cassette sold for $7.95. When you look at it in the perspective of $7.95, fees come out, so forth, so on, there's not much profit left to be made. But the fact that he bought them as a bundle, we've already covered the cost for that bundle unit, and we still have more to go to sell, and we're in the profit. So anything else that comes out of that, we're making profit. So that's another thing to think about, is if you have an opportunity to bundle a lot of like items, like I was talking about with Hadley, tapes or CDs, you could potentially set yourself up really good with a gift that keeps giving. Who doesn't like that? Next, I will share this. This is Clean Canteen. So cute. It's got kind of like the retro ocean boho vibes. This right here sold for $19.95 plus shipping. Super excited about that. Shane ended up getting that item. I don't know the cost of goods going into it, but not a bad sale. So talking about shipping, we all know that the shipping surcharge is about to come through. The estimated start date is April 26th. It's going to happen. They're going to take that 8% surcharge, and they're going to add it to services like Priority Mail, Priority Mail Express, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select. They put media out there saying that they were not going to attach that surcharge to first class stamps and some other items within what they offer to the public. But April 26th, we will see that 8% surcharge go into freight quotes. Now, that particular surcharge is supposed to last until January 17th, 2027. So that's going to be the rest of this year. Will it affect sales? There's no telling. I would hope that it doesn't. I kind of feel like maybe you'll see a little bit of slowdown for a week, maybe two. But here's the facts. Everything goes up in cost. We do receive increase in freight costs every year. And they're roughly 2%, 3%, but we see it. For our store, we do calculated shipping. The reason for that is we try to offer the best price for our items. And unfortunately, we just don't want to add in to our cost out to the customer. We don't want to add the freight into that, because when you see posts that say free shipping, we know that somewhere that shipping cost is bundled into the item price. It's some format. And any way that you flip that coin, the businesses cannot absorb the entirety of shipping. You could probably do it for a couple things here and there, but in the big picture, it's just too much to absorb. It kind of takes me back to when I worked for a steel sheet door company. And when I say sheet doors, I'm talking about self-storage roll-up doors. I worked for a company who manufactured those. And every single year, roughly around April, we had a steel price increase. And it was the worst time because you had to call every customer in your book of business. You had to share what the increased amount was. You had to share when that they would see that pricing reflected in their cost, and so forth, so on. So it's just a part of business you don't like. Unfortunately, it's a part of business that has to happen. And same with this, with the shipping. It has to happen because last year, 2025, USPS reported a loss of $9 billion. I mean, really, there's not a lot I can say. That's a lot of money. Not sure where they took on those losses from, thinking more that it's probably kind of like the rollover prior years. You just keep pushing that snowball down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I read a report where in 2020, they came up with a 10-year plan. This plan was to try and help them take the ship, turn it the right way, get back on track, and not be bleeding at the seams we're what, 5-6 years into this. I think the plan actually went into effect in 2021, so roughly 5 years into the plan. And I don't know what their pie chart looks like. Don't know how successful they are with the plan. Don't know if they're holding to the plan. So that just kind of forecast in my brain that this surcharge will not be the first thing that we'll see happen. I feel like the cost of shipping will continue to rise. I feel like we won't be able to control what's going to happen. I mean, that's obvious. We don't make those decisions, but we'll just have to do our best to take on those additional costs. And one thing I can say from working at that roll-up door company was customer service is key. If you offer excellent customer service, customers will recognize that and they will continue to come back. Yes, they want something for the best possible price that they could get. However, like the old saying goes, you get what you pay for. So if you know anything about fast food, I won't call out the particular brands, but there is one brand that you're going to get better service. You pay more for what they offer versus another. You pay less for what they offer, and you feel it when you go because their service that they provide is not there. So unfortunately, it's coming. It's going to happen. So I do have this Starbucks mug. This one's so beautiful. It's from Hawaii. Look at all that. So pretty. I don't know that it has a year on it. I'm just going to look. I don't see what year this came out, but it is a 12-ounce mug. It does say Hawaii right there. This one sold for $21.95. So, yes, Starbucks items are oversaturated. When you look at eBay, you'll probably come up with millions of items to view. There are some out there that they are just that unique that they will sell for good money, and that happened to be one of them. Don't remember where I came across that, but when I do pick up coffee mugs, I typically stick with $1 to $2, and it's a long tail item in most cases. And if you're willing to or you're able to hold that inventory, more times than not, it's going to pay off for you. So keep it in mind. Specialty Starbucks items are the ones to look out for. Next, I have Yokohama Studio. This is a hand-painted, such a darling little bowl. It's got a little lid on it. Here's that back stamp. Yokohama Studio, hand-painted. It looks as though it just says dishwasher safe, microwave safe. So cute. It's like a little fruit bowl. This item sold for $22.95. I actually picked this up out of a grab bag. I love the thrift stores that do grab bags of just random items where you can see through, and if there's something that catches your eye that you're like, oh, I probably need to get that. That happened with this. It was in a grab bag. They were like $3 or $4, and I saw this piece in there, and I was like, I have got to grab that because that is just darling. This one, the buyer also put a note in with this order, and it says, please add a note. Happy birthday, Amy, with love, Tammy. And I am happy to do that because I am very thankful that you bought this, and I will be happy to get you a little note in there, and we will send that to Tammy, and I hope that she enjoys it. So I appreciate you. Some clothing items that sold. I've got a pair of Lucky jeans. These look like they're like a gray color. They are Lucky jeans. They're like a boot cut, and they sold for $10 plus shipping. Now, these jeans have been in my inventory for quite some time. These jeans were from back when Shayna and I first started picking up items specifically to resell, because when we actually started, it started from us selling clothes out of our closet that we just weren't wearing. and some Funko Pops that he had. And so we thought, oh, we'll just go ahead and sell some of these things on eBay. Let's give it a try. Let's see how it goes. And then from there, we started hitting up thrift stores and selling items that we purchased. And these came from those days, back when I really thought I knew what I was doing. I said it. When I started, I was like, oh, Lucky Brand jeans, those are very expensive to purchase when you go to a retail store. Even if you went to an outlet, they're still very expensive. These should sell good on the pre-owned, pre-loved market. I didn't know what I was doing. I was not checking comps. I didn't know how. I just thought I knew that retail-wise they were pretty expensive, and that resale-wise they should bring in a good amount of money, and you live and learn. So if you're just getting started in this, you will make mistakes, and it's okay. You will pick up items that you think should perform well, and they may not. It's part of the growing process. Everybody has to go through that process, and you never stop going through it. You will continue to go through that process as you learn, as you educate yourself on what's happening, what people are looking for, what's the style. Keep an eye out on the trends. Google Trends, it's such a great resource to look into to see what's trending now. I'm not a big fan of browsing TikTok because it's a rabbit hole. I start watching TikTok, I'm probably going to be watching it until about 5 o'clock this afternoon because it sucks you in. And it's fun. It's funny watching some of these videos. They make me laugh. That entertainment piece is definitely there. However, utilize it for trends, what people are buying, what people are wearing. Browse Instagram for trends. Learn who some of these trendsetter IG people are. Add yourself or favorite their channels. Look at what they're talking about. Those pieces will help you when you're out in the wild sourcing for clothes. It's something, again, Shane and I didn't do it when we first started. We still have items such as those jeans that are still in our inventory that we are so happy when they do sell. They are not selling for the profit that when we originally bought them that we had hoped for. It's part of doing business. You have to learn from those mistakes you made, and you're going to make them. It's just going to happen. Here I've got a pair of new old stock. These are called Saddle King jeans. These I picked out of a thrift store that, I swear, everything in that thrift store was from the time that the thrift store originally opened, probably in the early 80s. When you walked in, you knew. You just knew that everything in there was probably original to the store. These jeans, my husband saw them on a post where they were selling off everything in the store, and he was browsing pictures. He's good at honing in on specific items when he's browsing pictures, and he said, I need you to go get these jeans because they sell really well. They sell for a good price, and they have a whole bunch of them. So I went down there. I went to check it out. At first, I didn't see them when I walked in the door. Then I was looking around for jeans in general, and I ended up spotting them, and I bought every pair. There are several larger sizes that were within that entire bundle that I picked up. That one right there that just sold is size 34, 34. Cost of goods going into that was approximately $6, and they sold for $40 plus shipping. So I'm very happy with that sale. These are going to be a longer tail. We are okay with that. We have room to keep them in inventory, and that, to me, that's a good sale. So I'm pretty happy with that. The next item, clothing-wise, this beautiful color dress is a spaghetti strap, sweetheart neckline, and they call it a fit and flare dress. So for you men, it kind of fits the body line really well. When it gets to the hips, it flares out. Another piece that made this particular dress stand out was it had a slit on one side and there was a ruffle hem. So it just kind of gave the aesthetic of almost like a flamenco dress with the ruffle, the flare, just a beautiful dress. It's made my dress the population. So if I was to put that dress out there and use titling of dress of population, size whatever, color purple, spaghetti strap, it's not going to sell. And unfortunately, people aren't looking for that brand. However, with keywording that is ruffle hem, boho style, fit and flare, utilizing your keywords is what will sell the item. And this particular dress sold for $22 plus shipping. So I'm very, very happy with that sale. Again, keywords are definitely something that you want to pay attention to so you can get some items to move out of your store. I wasn't the greatest at them when I first started. Through time, I've gotten better. I'm not 100% there. Every time that I hear or see a new keyword that I'm like, oh, that's a great keyword, I write it down. I got my little book. I call it my little resale Bible. I make notes in it. I put keywords in there. I put different, let's see, I've got any type of particular thrift store that maybe we've gone to that we really enjoyed. I jot it down in there. I jot the address down and everything, because if we're ever in that city again, I want a source to go to and go, oh my gosh, we went to XYZ thrift store. We really did really great in there. We really enjoyed it. I got the address so we can go again. When you find locations that you feel like you can source pretty good stuff out of, make a note of that. Because if you are able to source good out of it that one day, there's always a high probability that when you go back, you'll do just as well. So just throwing that out there too. Next I have, this is Mossy Oak. Not sure exactly where Shane picked this up. I'm going to have to go back to the spreadsheet and look for this item so I can get the true cost of good, but it's a Mossy Oak. It's camo. This one right here sold for $18.95 plus shipping. Not sure how you keep track of what your cost is, or I should say money going out, money coming in. I love Excel spreadsheets. They are my life. I learned how to use Excel on my own through corporate jobs, and I do record everything coming in, the cost that we paid, and then once it sells at night, I will go back in and I will mark what my earnings were with the reduction of fees or shipping or anything like that, so I can get a truer P&L. It's not going to be 1,000% dead on, but it's going to give me a better idea of how we are doing. Give you an example. So from this past March, when I was looking at the metrics on eBay, we sold 398 items, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Our average price per item sold was $39.17, which is, again, I'm very happy with that, because I can tell you, I was lingering around like $15 or $16 when I first started. So if I can increase that, I'm super stoked. That means that the homework I'm putting in is paying off. So the more homework you do, the better you're going to do at the test. Total sales for the month of March, $15,588.59. Now, total sales does have your shipping and your fees in there. And these numbers are just eBay numbers. These do not take in the numbers of the items that we've sold on other platforms. Net after the shipping fees and all the other fees have come out was $9,866.98. So there's a considerable amount that does consume your shipping and your fees. However, looking through my spreadsheet of money that went out the door in the month of March, we spent $1,738.44 eBay alone, without the shipping, without the fees. We have a net of $98.66. That tells me that through the month of March that we should have profit of $8,128.54. I will tell you, working in the corporate world, there is no way I would ever pull a salary like that at $8,000 a month. Sorry. I'm getting to the age where it's just not going to happen. Even when I was in my 20s and, young and just ready to learn, and I wasn't able to pull a position within a corporation that would pay me that much. I've always felt that that's just my destiny. I was not going to be the breadwinner of the family. I was going to work and I was going to support Shane's career, and I'm okay with that. But now when I look at it, at what I'm doing now, that's very, very encouraging. Very encouraging. So that's just how much we've grown as resellers. Obviously, I want to continue to grow that even further, and I hope that I can eventually get those numbers to double over time. It might take 5 or 6 years. I'm willing to put the work in to do it, but that's exciting for me. Next item is Falconable. I think this is a really beautiful dress shirt. It's very spring colors. It's got your stripes. This is a 2XL. This item sold for $16.95 plus shipping. So we're going to get that out to the buyer today. Next item. Every now and then I pick up scarves. I prefer to pick up the scarves that have the maker tag on there, so I know who made it and then the material that it was made of. That's not always the case when I run across some really cool looking scarves. This one did have it. This is Pashmina. So this is a silk scarf. It is reversible, so when you reverse the scarf, then your colors reverse. And it sold for $11.04 plus shipping. Typically when I pick up scarves, I'm only about $1 into them. So I'm pretty happy with that sale. We also have an Under Armour polo. This is a size large. This is new with tags. It's like that performance material. It feels really good. I do like the pattern on this. I like what they're doing with their product when they're recreating the patterns, because they are coming out with some that are pretty cool. This polo sold for $20 plus shipping. So I'm pretty happy with that sale too. I will share with you a recent experience that I had. I do like to shop online estate sales. They're auction style. You can come across some really cool stuff that you can have it shipped to you. So that just kind of opens up your sourcing game to where you're not having to source just within your region or however far you're willing to drive to pick stuff up. And I recently won a unit that was 4 purses. I bid on it because there was one person there that was a pretty good purse. It was a good brand. It was one I have not heard of before. I ran the comps on it and I was like, oh, okay. I won the lot, and when you win, you automatically pay for the item. I paid $16.96 for the 4 purses. So at this point, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I got 4 purses. One's the shooting star. The other 3, I will end up selling them. $16 going in on my cost. All I got to do is wait for the invoice for shipping, and then it's a done deal. Well, that invoice came in. This item went to the shipping or the carrier, the third-party carrier. And I will tell you the name of it because I was so disappointed. And I want to make sure nobody else gets hoodwinked. So that's why I'm doing this. Ship on site out of the Myrtle Beach area. They got the items. They're the third-party carrier that this particular online estate sale company chooses to partner with to ship their items. Respect for them, they do get to choose that. When you are bidding and you choose for the item to be shipped, you do have to agree that they use a third-party carrier. But here's the kicker. You don't know what the third-party carrier is going to charge you. So yeah, I agreed for them to send the items to ship on site, to have them package and ship the items out. But I don't know what their charges look like until I got the invoice. This invoice came to me and it was $59.30. And I was like, no ma'am. No ma'am. Myrtle Beach is an 8-hour drive from my house. I have vacationed there. I know the drive. I know the cost of shipping has gone up. I just talked to you guys about it. I am willing to accept the increase in the cost of shipping. However, when I asked the lady what the box weight dimensions were, because I wanted to run some numbers to see what shipping should cost, it was 7 pounds. The dimensions she provided me were 16 by 12 by 12. I did not win a baseball bat bag. 16 for 4 handbags. One of the handbags was approximately this big in width, but 16 by 12 by 12. That blew my mind. She shared with me that because it is 16, that the carrier will charge an additional fee because it is over the said dimensions, and that is what caused the cost of shipping to rise. Their invoice reads $11.75 for packaging. Okay, I can accept that. You have employees, you have to pay your employees. You have overhead in regards to your building, everything else that comes with business. I get it. The shipping alone was $46.96. And I'm like, how are you hand delivering this? Is this half a tank of gas I'm paying you to bring this to me? And the taxes were 59 cents. When I go in to pirate ship, put the exact weight and dimensions this lady provided me, ground advantage was $13.09. So I do not know where $47 came from. I asked, would I be able to email you a prepaid label? I'll pay for your packaging cost because you are handling the package and then the taxes involved. If you allow me to send you a prepaid shipping label, that would be great. She said, nope, you got to get back with the company that you purchased the items from and ask them because they told us we weren't allowed to accept those. Okay. So I went back to the company. I sent a really nice email, just, hey, I won a lot of purses. The shipping was a little bit higher than I expected. And I wanted to ask if there was an option for an alternative in regards to this item getting shipped to me. Can I send a prepaid label? That way I pay for the shipping beforehand and get the items sent. It took about a day. I got a response, but this kills me. When you respond with copying and pasting what your guidelines were going into this sale, that tells me that you didn't read my email all the way, because you copied and pasted and said, sorry, can't help you. You agreed to this. Here's the rules. Have a good day. Which I just, that's not good customer service. At least entertain it. At least be willing to have a conversation about it. At least think, maybe we could look into this together and you would understand that the cost of shipping was a little bit unreasonable, because I know good and well that this particular items did not call for a 16 by 12 by 12 box. I'm happy you throw them in a poly bag because they'll be fine. However, neither the shipping company nor the online estate company offered to talk through further how we could look at reducing this cost. So my response email to the online estate sale company is, I understand that if I don't pay the shipping invoice that I do forfeit the item that I won, and I'm willing to do so, because I cannot justify paying the higher freight cost knowing that it should not cost this much for the item to ship to me, and that I would be happy to share my experience with others, because I would hate for somebody else to get caught up into this and have to pay more than they should. I'm okay paying handling costs because I get it. I'm okay if you had an additional service fee that was reasonable. I get it. I just didn't feel like it was reasonable. Am I crazy? Let me know. That kind of flew all over me. So I will not bid on items where they use the carrier ship on site at a Myrtle Beach. Just won't do it. And that's okay, because there will be other people who will bid. There will be other people who will purchase, and that's okay. This is just something that within my business did not make sense, and we are moving on. These are Ula Johnson pants. These are really cool. I picked these up out of Mississippi. I paid about $8, I believe it was, for the pair of pants. I picked them up roughly, I feel like it was November or December of 2025, and they sold for $40.70 plus shipping. So very, very happy with that sale. My last clothing item, if you will, is Victoria's Secret floral PJ pants. These are so pretty. They're a satin, beautiful mint color. They sold for $19.99 plus shipping. I love selling sleepwear because there's some absolutely stunning pieces. There are some brands of sleepwear that are very sought after, and if you come across those, you will get good money for them. You're just not going to come across them. I mean, you can, but you're more likely not to come across them in your standard thrift store. I have found them in estate sales. Just, that's my experience sharing it with you. Another item, shipping out. We talked about this before. If you see dust bags, shoe bags for higher brand items, consider picking them up if it makes sense for your business. These were $1 a piece. So we have $2 going into this, and they sold for $16.11. Pretty good turnaround for $2. Happy with that. This magazine, Shane picked this up in a bundle deal where we had magazines, we had playing cards, we had trading collector cards, this full lot. And this magazine sold for $17.95. It is one that I believe is vintage, March, April of 2000. So pretty happy with that. That will go out today. Another item that sold. This is such a pretty little purse. This is fairly recent that I picked this up, and I say about 2 weeks ago. It does have a crossbody strap. I like to tuck them into the purse, and then when I do wrap the purse up with craft paper and then put it in the box, it just kind of keeps it all nice. This purse is made by Portland leather. Such a great quality purse. Someone had sent me an offer, and I want to say it was roughly $30, and I countered back. I believe I countered back at 45. They countered again at like 32, and I was just kind of sitting on it thinking, like, do I want to accept this offer? Because sometimes I will accept offers that are over 20%. It just depends. One, what's my cost going into it? Two, how long has it been listed? While I was doing the consideration, somebody else came in, bought it at full price, and it sold for $50.90. There are times that if people are watching the item or like the item and somebody else sends you an offer, I believe eBay does send them a message of, you better act fast. Offers are going back and forth on said item, and someone came in and they picked it up for full price, and I couldn't be happier. So that will go out today. I do have, these are called Hotter, Hotter. Picked these up out of an estate sale. They are new without their box. At first glance, you may not even think twice about picking them up. You just wouldn't think that they would be an item that would resell. These sold for $30 plus shipping. So very happy with that sale too. And that was a Shane grab. I have to give him the kudos for that, because I was looking at some other things. He spotted those shoes and he's like, those look unique. I'm gonna look them up. Ran some comps and he said, we're buying these. So those sold. We do have a pair that are identical in style. They're just red in color. So hopefully those will sell soon too. Another item going out today. These are FootJoy. These are the brown woven, excuse me, penny loafers. These are just stunning. FootJoy is a good brand. This is a brand that will stand the test of time in regards to craftsmanship. These right here sold for $49.95. Super happy with that. This one's exciting because this is like the second time I've come across this brand out in the wild. I picked these up at an estate sale, and I was shocked when they didn't have a price on them. I was very shocked when I went and asked what the price was, because I was like, oh, this is going to be expensive. However, if I'm not mistaken, these are $15. Look at these. These are Jimmy Choo. There's your label. Absolutely stunning. I don't think they were ever wore. They were size 10.5, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Choo wedge sandals, and they sold for $84 plus shipping. These sold on Poshmark. Very happy with that sale. Again, my cost going into them wasn't too bad. I do have the dust cover bags that when I bought the shoes, they did not come with it. But like I was saying, when you're out and about and you see these dust bags, I picked them up with the intention of reselling, but since those shoes sold, I'm going to go ahead and put them with the shoes just to add that little extra surprise, because I didn't picture that the shoes will come in dust bags, because I want to do something nice for the buyer, because I'm very happy that they sold. The other thing I have, and this was, if I'm not mistaken, sold on Etsy, and it's Edward Scissorhands. Look at this. This is a vintage piece. Shane purchased a collection from somebody where we had Edward Scissorhand, Planet of the Apes, Beetlejuice. This one sold for $17.95 plus shipping. So that is one of those gifts that purchasing the bundle is going to pay off. He got that. He was looking on Facebook Marketplace. Someone had posted that they were selling a collection out. This was the collection. He immediately reached out. Hey, I'm very interested. We met up with the lady, and she was selling it for, I think it was her nephew or somebody within her family. She was selling it on their behalf, and we got a wonderful deal. So very, very happy with that. So this is what I will be doing for the next 30, maybe 45 minutes. Just depends on how quickly I can work at getting it packaged, and I got to get it over to the post office. Again, I'm so thankful that you guys stopped by. I hope I gave you some ideas on items to be on the lookout for, because if you see what I sold and you're out and about sourcing, maybe something will catch your eye and you'll go, wait a minute, I saw that somewhere. Where did I see it? And maybe the connection will happen, and then you'll pick it up and you'll sell for good profit as well. Again, I do appreciate all of you. Brand new, returning, thank you so much. If we are able to provide you with information that's helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and please share. The more that you guys do that, the more that it helps our channel grow, and we are hoping to grow this channel. I'm doing the best I can at coming up with better talking points, because again, if we network and communicate about the goings on within this business, we can all come up with some kind of good perspective so everybody wins. So I appreciate you, and I hope that you stay golden.